welcome to the Gaia update for February 2015. I'm Adrienne Elise. Well, there's so much happening right now, but we're kind of in a weird place with this Mercury retrograde. Now that goes direct on the 12th of February. And so then we're going to start really kind of feeling some more understanding. The Mercury, the messenger in retrograde in Aquarius, is telling us, giving us the information we need about how we individually move forward in this Aquarian age. And a lot of that feels like, what am I doing? Where am I going? I thought I was going in this direction, but that doesn't seem right anymore. And so after the Mercury retrograde, we're going to start having more clarity, and that will continue to come in through this next 6-week period following that, and especially with the new moon coming in on February 18th. So we're in this strange place where Chiron, the wounded healer asteroid, is a very powerful astrological influence, and it's very it's powerfully aspected as we move into the energy. This whole February, pretty much, we're starting to feel the energy of the Yod, which is the finger of God, and this is a formation of two planets close together, 60 degrees apart, and then pointing directly at another planet across the zodiac, right in the middle. And so it's kind of like everything is pointing right now to this Jupiter, or this Jupiter in Leo. And so what is that telling us? We have a bunch of planets between the signs on the other side of Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, and Aries. And so all of that is pointing towards this. All eyes are on Jupiter in Leo right now. And Jupiter is in a retrograde cycle. And so that's going to allow it to come into a powerful trine energy with Uranus, the awakener, and also with Pallas Athene in Sagittarius. And so that's going to be the energy. There's just so much happening in February, but it's a beautiful, harmonious lining up, which is like kind of like all of that energy pointing at that Jupiter in Leo. Now, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. It's the expansive, the dreamer, the philosophical part of us that wants to understand the greater cosmos. And that's in the sign of Leo. So and Leo is the sun, ruled by the sun, expression. And so we're really being called in this identity crisis that we've been going through with Uranus and Aries and the Pluto-Uranus square, this revolution of our identity. Now is the time that we are being called to stand up for who we really are and literally take back our planet. And it's powerful energy, and of all of these things lining up very harmoniously, whereas for the last couple of years it's kind of been like, oh yeah, we're kind of trying to make these changes, but we're stuck in the mud. And so now we're really being called to stand up for who we really are as spiritual beings. And when we do that, that's how we take back our planet, take back our paradigm. But we've crossed this threshold that's happened over the last 2 months into this place of more possibility. And this is definitely brought forward by that Jupiter in Leo energy, and also with the Yod. And we've had this, as we come to the completion of the Pluto-Uranus square that's been going on for the last 3 years, we've been feeling this influence. And the last exact is coming up next month in March. So we're at this crucial period of time of starting to see what this has all been about. And the stars right now are asking us to say, okay, you're having your revolution, and now is the time to stand up for who you really are, but in a harmonious, loving way. And so I'm going to kind of go over all of the aspects that are happening in February that are helping us to move into this new phase of our Earth evolution. And it's kind of neat because that's kind of highlighted by Pallas Athene, who is a warrior goddess. She's willing to stand up for what's true, what's best for everyone, that Aquarian energy. But she's also a peacemaker. She is good at diplomacy, at harmonizing opposites, which is a big theme of 2015. And so we've moved into this kind of cool phase where some of the shenanigans and kind of stories we've been told in these last few years of building drama and trauma, terrorism, wars, all that stuff's going on. But we're moving to a place now as we come into this Jupiter and Leo activation of standing up for our true identity as spiritual beings, and that we're not just a speck of dust, of dirt that's separate from reality, that the powers that be want us to keep us in that disempowered place. It's like, no, what if we're actually, we're part of Source, we're part of this evolution. Each one of us is very important in our individuality. That's that Leo energy, and then the Aquarius energy of that consciousness of what's best for everyone, the humanitarian ideals. And so this whole energy of the new war and the pandemic and the terror and all of that, we're kind of not buying into it anymore. The energy of 2015 is just not going to allow that to rule our lives. But in order to shift, to really complete the shift, we're really being asked to step up for who we really are, to come into our true identity as spiritual beings in a physical body, take back our planet, stand up for what's right, but in a very harmonious way. And so this is part of the energy that's going on right now, is a bunch of planets in Pisces, which is the age we've just come out of. But Pisces is the collective consciousness, the dream. And so this is really where the shift is happening, because we got convinced that we were in a nightmare, and now we're waking up. And so it's like, can we dream this new dream? Is it really possible? And that's what that Jupiter and Leo is asking us to do, is stand up and say, yeah. Stand up and be really strong and secure, have that Leo confidence of the world we want to create. And that's the challenge of this time, is that there's these harmonious energies of our inner spiritual revolution. But when we try to hold that energy and we're saying, okay, this is the paradigm I want to create, this is the new earth, possibilities, making our dreams come true, taking back our planet. But then when we go out into the world and we have everyone around us really still buying into the old paradigm, it's difficult to hold that vision. And so the energies of February 2015 are about supporting us in holding true to the vision of our new earth. Our new earth vision of us being able to see the truth of what's been going on, become empowered in our individual selves, receive the technology and solutions, the problem solvers, the leaders that are being called. So that Yod is really a leadership, spiritual awareness, leadership, access. And so bringing forward the energies of kind of being able to move into this new age. So we have a bunch of fire stuff going on, the fire of transformation, and the fire of that of being the resolution within the self to be who we really are, that spark of imagination and vision. It's really being activated. And so we're being called, the stress and tension that's coming right now is around being willing to stand up for who we really are. And so there's lots of energy around personal relationships with our North Node in Libra, in the sign of Libra, which is a sign of relationships, as well as peaceful revolution and resolution and diplomacy. And so the way forward is a love revolution. It's in our relationships to each other. And there's a lot of energy right now being like, well, come on, we're supposed to just be loving towards each other. You know, that's how we solve all our problems. But it's like, that's nearly impossible to be loving towards each other when the people around you are sticking to the old paradigm and completely invested in that. And also, we're not able to love each others until we can love ourselves. And so that's this revolution of the identity. You know, when we understand our importance and who we are and what we're doing here on the planet and creating new earth and moving into a new paradigm and seeing the bigger picture and understanding who we are, our role, activation of our role in this whole beautiful journey of transformation, then it's easier to love ourselves. So that's really kind of what we're being called to do. We can't create a loving world until we can love ourselves first. And to go out there and try to be loving towards other people when you're feeling really crappy about yourself, buying into that worm-like existence of the old paradigm that we're just a speck of dirt, nothingness floating through the universe, that just doesn't make you feel very good. So we're really remaking ourselves in this individuality and the whole, and that's how we get into the revolution of the whole. That's the breakdown of structures that we're looking for. So part of the energy is 2015 is understanding why we're going through this, and that is really helpful to activate into our true spiritual authority, that yod energy, to having the confidence to stand up in our everyday life. So that might be to your boss, to your partner, to the structures of society, being like, you know, I'm going to be true to me in the best way that I can in the structures of my reality. That's the very first step. That's how we love ourselves. That's how we love others. That's how we create these love revolution that takes back our planet. If we don't make these changes, which are, we're kind of seeing the beautiful thing about this time is like, oh, okay, starting to realize why we've been going through everything we've been going through and getting empowered in the process. But if we don't do that, we don't get to stay living on our planet. And so it's really a crucial time where we decide that we're going to get on board with the divine timeline. Mother Earth Gaia has decided to get back onto her divine timeline, come into the Eden star that she is meant to be. She is a planet who has done this beautiful sacrifice of gathering up lost souls over here out on the edges of the galaxy and gathering up lost souls. But now it's time to move forward in the evolution, and we have to decide if we're going to jump on that divine timeline as well and move into the new Earth paradigm and be able to recreate our Earth or not. And that's where we are right now. But 2015, and particularly a microcosm here in February, is showing us the way forward, showing us what's possible, allowing us to dream, and not just dream, but bring our dreams into actual reality. So it's hard when you're kind of like, well, I have these dreams and visions of what I want my life to be, but then we go out into the world and we feel limited and restricted, and we start to doubt. And so there's great energy to move through those doubts into an empowered, real life, real world representation of our dreams. It's time to get busy, get serious about our dreams. This is the aspect reflected in the aspect of Saturn squaring up to Neptune at home in Pisces. So the dreamer, the collective consciousness, it's like, oh yeah, well, somewhere out there I know it's possible for us to live a different way. And Saturn is work, duty, seriousness. Come on, what do we need to do to make it practical, to bring it into real life? And they're squaring up. So for from the 10th to the 18th of February is when we're really feeling that square. It's interesting though, because they don't come into an exact square. They're close enough that we really are feeling it strongly, but it's not until November that they actually come into an exact square. So that's going to be kind of a resolution of all this process that we've been going in, the 2015 process of being willing to stand up for who we really are in our dreams and visions, our spiritual process, in taking back our Earth. And so Saturn is demanding that we make it real. And that can be kind of uncomfortable feeling, but really cool, especially with all of the other harmonious aspects that are going on. Now, on the middle of the month, Ceres, the asteroid Ceres that represents Mother Earth Goddess. It's kind of like that dream and vision of Mother Earth's potential in that seed form. In Ceres, the asteroid, and it comes into conjunction with Pluto in Capricorn. And of course, we're really feeling the Pluto-Uranus square that's exact next month. And so all of the aspects that are coming into these planets are really important, clarifying this last exact of the Pluto-Uranus square, helping us to understand what this whole era is all about. And so that Ceres, that seed of the potential of Earth evolution, is coming up with Pluto. Pluto is dissolution. It's the ruler of Scorpio. It's breakdown. It's death and rebirth. And that's in the sign of Capricorn, authoritarian structure. And so we're really being like, but we haven't really seen that yet, so much of a breakdown of our authoritarian structures in our world. But that's what we're going to start seeing as Pluto and Uranus separate starting in April. And so this Ceres coming into conjunction with Pluto is clarifying this breakdown of structures. We're doing this so we can create the vision of Earth that we are here to create. And so it's kind of neat when you get to that point when you're struggling through issues, struggling through drama, through karma coming up, past life, and then, when you come to that point of understanding, and you're kind of like, then it becomes, instead of this drama and trauma and you're a victim of it, but then you're empowered in it. That's the shift we're going in right now, planetarily, humanity in general. It's time to get empowered in these changes, get excited about what we can create, and see that it's possible. And so it's that point of revealing the truth, of being like, oh, that's why that happened. That really sucked at the time, but now I can see that that situation was necessary for me to get to where I am now, to get to this point of being able to really move forward in a new way. And so that's a really kind of a beautiful conjunction of Ceres coming into Pluto and signifying that we're beginning to understand why we've been going through what we've been going through, because we're creating a new dream Earth. And is it possible? That's the question. Is it really possible? Is this just a pipe dream? Saturn square Neptune saying, get to work on it. Who cares if it's a pipe dream? Who cares what anybody else thinks? It's time to get busy and get to work. And actually, when that starts happening, when you start taking the practical action steps, which have been really difficult during this Mercury retrograde, but as we start to get this forward motion going, and the new moon and Chinese New Year, it's going to like, okay, once you get to work on your dreams, once you take that first step and you're on the path, everything feels so much better. And that's where we get that empowerment, the empowerment, that Jupiter and Leo empowerment, the confidence to be who we really are, take those steps in our dreams and have the confidence to, the Aquarian revolution is, Aquarian energy is, it's very tolerant of quirkiness and individuality. It's important for us to be who we really are, let our freak flag fly. And that's the essential part. So if your dreams and visions don't make you feel a little bit nervous about putting yourself out there because it's different than other people, then they're not really on track with what we're here to do. So part of the process of that Jupiter and Leo empowerment and the yod is about accepting ourselves for who we really are. And a lot of us, the way we were raised, because of the conformity energy of our culture and our paradigm, we had the parts of us that are that quirky individual part, that was kind of the problem for us. So what was wrong about you as you were a child in school and couldn't fit into the rows or whatever, and the way your learning style, that's what's right about you. And it's time to activate into what's right about you, what makes you different from other people. And so stepping out into the world with that, your dreams and visions of your own unique identity, that feels a little bit scary. That's why we have this powerful yod helping us. The stars are lining up here for us. The stars 2015 is that whole message that we're no longer going to buy in to this bullshit. Terror, war, disease stuff. We are more powerful than that. We are spiritual beings on a mission to bring our planet into its true, help assist and be a part of bringing our planet into its true evolution. And so we're going to really feel a shift when we come after that Mercury goes direct, and then the new moon happens on the 18th of February. Now this is really interesting because the new moon is at 29 degrees Aquarius. The last new moon was at 0 degrees Aquarius. So we have two new moons. It's very rare in 1 month. And then in the middle was the Leo full moon, really activating that Jupiter in Leo, starting the energy of that yod, and helping us to have the confidence to be who we really are. And these new moons in Aquarius are really saying it's a new age. We're here. We've arrived. This new moon in February 18th says, here we are. We're in the age of Aquarius now. We need to act accordingly. It's kind of like going to a foreign country and learning their customs, and we're being asked to kind of be like, oh, okay, this is how we do it in this age. That's what that Mercury retrograde's been about. And so now that it's going direct, and then we'll have the new moon, Chinese New Year on the 19th. That's when the sun moves into Pisces, really activating all these planets in Pisces, coming up with Neptune at the end of the month. And so we're having this kind of really moving into the Aquarian Age, and that's that being able to stand up for who we really are and have that beautiful yod to help us. So on the 19th, when the sun goes into Pisces, that's the official, and the new moon, that's neat that they're in that right there together. Again, it's all this newness, a new moon, new sign as the sun moves into Pisces, and a new Chinese year. Chinese New Year, the year of the sheep. And so this year of the sheep, it's a green wooden sheep, and the wood represents the new shoot, the power of the plant. Now think about all that potential that's in the seed, and the energy of that seed, the sprout, the very new sprout, when it just first peeks up out of the ground, that is where we are at in our evolution, in this year cycle, in this age cycle, in our individual cycles. And so finding the strength, the yod of that activation, the grand fire trine this month, and all that energy towards Jupiter and Leo is saying we have the strength, we have the support to push this new shoot up out of the ground. So we've been quietly kind of trying to figure out, okay, new earth, our Aquarian revolution, who am I, what are we doing, and all this stuff. And now that Jupiter and Leo is saying in the green wooden sheep year, is saying now we have the strength, now we have all that potential to push up. But you can feel that energy and how intense it is, and that's why we're feeling the way we are. We're getting ready to sprout up out of the ground. Now that's an interesting thing, because all of that Saturn and Scorpio energy, our work was underneath the surface and the subconscious and kind of these internal changes. And now with all this Leo energy, we're kind of, or that Jupiter and Leo is like, okay, now we have to come up to the surface. Now we have to be who we really are in front of other people. We have to bring our dreams and visions into where they can be judged and criticized. And so that Leo yod, Jupiter and Leo, is giving us the strength to come up above the surface, to show who we are, to be true about who we are. The Aquarian Age is about that, and here we are, we have arrived. So one of the beautiful harmonious aspects of this year is Venus and Mars coming together in a conjunction 3 times. It's a very powerful energy speaking to the harmonizing of opposites. We've been in duality consciousness here, in always at war with some other force. And of course, a lot of times that's reflected between the male and the female parts of ourselves, right brain, left brain. The era that we've been in, a lot of the energies have been about trying to keep us from having our creative mind and our intellectual mind be able to work together. This year, that's over. We're going to bring together the male and the female, the integration within. That's the ability to harmonize our process, love ourselves through our process. And this happens for the first time on the 22nd, but these planets stay close together. And so, so we'll feel that for about a week. And that's going to be a big energy of February. And the interesting thing is that they come together to that conjunction, but it's right at the end. They come very close together right at the end of Pisces, and then moving into Aries. So it's actually at 0 degrees Aries that they're exact. And that speaks to, Aries is the instigator. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's the pioneer. So again, new beginnings, the fire, the spark. And so the harmonizing of opposites within us is really important to be able to forge ahead into the new age. And of course is very supported. But now these planets conjunct there, and then they trine up in those early degrees of Sagittarius. Saturn is in Sagittarius, so it's trining up from Aries and Sagittarius. This fire trine is being activated, and fire energy is being activated as it trines up with Saturn. And then it's saying, so Saturn, that work, duty, let's get real about it. And so Saturn is saying, yeah, so harmonize those opposites and then see what that means in your world. It's harmonizing the work of this age and saying that we don't have to do it the hard way. Part of the Aquarian Age is letting go of the struggle of the past, letting go of our addiction to trauma and drama, and being like, hey, okay, I've got some energy behind me. I feel confident. I feel like maybe I can move through these changes in a way that feels like I know why they're happening. I know why this stuff is coming up. I see the clarity that this is helping me get onto my true path as a spiritual being on the planet in the Aquarian Age. And so it's not so tumultuous. It's not so dramatic. And that's where the energy of 2015 is putting an end to that false belief system that around conflict, and that we have to have pain to grow. You know, so this is really being activated now. So we have that powerful trine, but then we also have a grand fire trine in the middle of the fire signs coming together, and that is really the main one is Jupiter trining Uranus. So Jupiter and Leo, again, so much energy on that with the yod, and then trining up with Uranus and Aries. Uranus and Aries still in that square with Pluto, and that dissolution of structures, the revolution of our identity and how we need to change to move forward. So that revolution of the identity trining up with Jupiter and Leo, having that powerful energy of moving forward into who we really are, is very just magical energy of serendipity and synchronicities and instant. So Uranus has this lightning fast energy, and it affects our nervous system. And so along with the harmony, we're having a lot of an activation in our nervous system, in our identity. So it can feel kind of like uncomfortable in some ways with that energy. But what it's about is empowering us in our individual revolution, and keeping us on our toes. This February astrology is like, oh yeah, all this harmony, but it's also like lightning fast change, and things are really coming together, and they're starting to line up. And oh, do we want to get on the divine destiny of our planet Mother Earth, or do we want to stay in turmoil of the old paradigm? And so that energy is kind of it's going to affect our nervous system, but then kind of having that feeling of like, oh yeah, but I'm making progress, I'm getting somewhere, I'm feeling more confident. And so those kind of energies working together, moving us into this new age. So the third part of that fire trine is Pallas Athene, the asteroid in the sign of Sagittarius, and that is bringing this nice fire trine of all the fire signs. So when we have a fire trine, that's about transformation and alchemy, and about really kind of like setting a fire to it and moving into the next place, you know. And the trine is harmonious transformation. So that's a really beautiful energy for us right now. And so that Jupiter, Uranus, and Pallas Athene in this trine is kind of holding steady this energy of harmonious transformation while we make this shift. And it's really beautiful. Now, Pallas Athene is a ruler of one of the rulers of Libra, and our North Node in Libra. So it's bringing that diplomacy to harmonizing our opposites, to peaceful resolution, and that the year of the sheep is a very peaceful energy. So all this energy towards, yeah, let's break down some shit and like totally start over in this world and this new age and everything, but let's do it in the fun way. You know, let's do it with harmony. Let's do it with confidence. Let's do it with feeling good and loving ourselves about who we are. So it's just a really great supportive energy for these shifts. And so that's what February 2015 is about getting more comfortable in our personal spiritual evolution, and coming out of that Mercury retrograde having really a lot more clarity about what's our role in the Aquarian Age? Why are we here at this? Supposedly, to get on this planet this time, a lot of souls wanted to be here. This is like where everything's happening in the universe right now. Even though we are off in the edge of the galaxy, all eyes are on Earth, because we're doing something that's never been done before. We're changing our consciousness while we are in a body. And that means we're changing our physical body to be able to hold more light. We're turning to light. We're activating our DNA codes. And so that's kind of that nervous system activation. And the way you can support that is by drinking lots of water, making sure you have plenty of time to yourself and plenty of rest, and also being in nature helps to kind of move those energies along, help you to reset to who you really are, and keep your awareness, keep your vibration in your own field rather than getting caught up in everybody else's drama around you. And So basically, with the Yod and with the Grand Fire Trine and the Venus-Mars conjunction, then trining Saturn, and the newness of the new Chinese astrological year, and the new age of Aquarius and Mercury going direct, it's really about reorienting ourselves on this path, on this new earth path, and having the confidence to be able to really move forward. So February is about that shift. And of course we have Valentine's Day, and very beautiful with that. We'll already be feeling that Venus and Mars conjunction coming together in harmonious ways. So we're with the Pluto-Uranus square and the breakdown of structures and Saturn activating us into really getting going on creating our dreams coming true, but then all of the harmonious support. February, and especially the new moon, is a great time to launch in a new direction. You might not be ready to do that outwardly, but within yourself, setting intention about that life you really want to live, your dream life. Saturn is saying, you know, we just don't have time for this anymore. Saturn is the time, grandfather time, and so the Saturn activation right now with squaring Neptune of our dreams and our collective consciousness, and then also Venus and Mars trining those, we're having this just great opportunity to step into that new reality that we want to create for ourselves. And so really get into it. Spend that new moon is great for visioning the new Chinese New Year and pointing your life in a new direction. So our revolution of this time happens in the individual first with that Uranus and Aries, as we have the confidence to shoot up out of the ground, show who we really are, demonstrate to the world who we really are. That's a really important part of 2015. So blessings on your journey. Make the most of this harmonious visioning time, redirecting, getting on track with Mother Earth and her divine destiny as we move into our ultimate potential and humanity. So have fun with that, and know that what you've been going through is really important to get you to that life that you desire and the dreams that you want to see come true in this year, this lifetime, this era. So blessings on your journey, and I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next time. I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.